Today we are trying to understand angles. You're with Mr. Rossi and we're going to be answering these questions. What is an angle? And what are the basic angles I need to know? Now, what is an angle? Please do not get it mixed up with this particular creature. This is an angel. We are not referring to angels at all in this video, other than right now we're talking about angles. So what is an angle? It's how much or how far something or someone has turned. Now, good thing today is that we've got Tim with us, and Tim, as you can see, he feels like turning. So let's get Tim turning to show us what an angle really is. As you can see, Tim's already started turning. He's a bit of a free spirit and he keeps turning until, looks like he stopped finally. That's good. He wants to know how far he's turned. In other words, he wants to know the angle that he's done by turning that amount. So let's see if we can figure that out. Just before we do that, let's just go over what we know so far. We know an angle is how much or how far something has turned. And we know that this person, we were watching Tim, weren't we? He was turning on the spot. He wasn't wandering around. He was on the spot. He hasn't moved at all. He hasn't gone anywhere. He's just facing a different direction now. So how much has he turned? Let's start from the beginning again. And the reason we need to do that is also because we need to add an extra point here, and that is that we need to keep track of where the person is starting from and where they're finishing. Okay, or we could say the direction they were facing at the beginning and the direction they'll be facing at the end. So let's do it again. Let's watch Tim. This time we're keeping track of the starting point and the finishing point. So he's turning again. Hopefully he'll stop. That's good, he has stopped. What letter does this look like? It looks like an L, doesn't it? Which is great, because an L shape, is a quarter turn. As long as we're talking about from here around, from here around to here, or we're talking about from here back to there, okay, because he could have turned from here back to where he started, but it's the same shape, isn't it, that it makes, and that's an L shape. We also call this a quarter turn because if Tim had started from facing this way and he'd gone all the way around until he was facing the same direction as where he started, that would be a full turn he had done, and this is only a quarter of that. So what is the angle then? Well, it's 90 degrees. And there's even a special name that we give to this angle. It's called a right angle. So normally when there's an angle, we draw this in there to show the angle that we're measuring. We don't normally put the arrows on it because it doesn't really matter which way they went. We just want to know the size of the angle. But with a right angle, and this one is a special one, the one that is an L shape, there is a special way to show it is a right angle, and that is by putting this in the corner. So that it looks like a little square. We didn't have to draw these two sides because they're already there. We just had to draw these two here, and that is showing that it is a right angle, or 90 degrees. Or another way to say it, it's a quarter turn. Now, that's one of the angles that you need to know. What are the other angles that you need to know? Now, Tim is a bit uncontrollable today. As you can see, he's already done a turn without us even asking for it. Now he's facing down. Can you see that? So how far has he turned this time altogether? From the starting point around to where he's facing now. Well, let's look at this. If we look at where he started, yeah, which was facing straight up, and where he's facing right now, what is that? This blue line here, it's a straight line, isn't it? And this straight line is really an L shape here for this part, and another L shape in this part. So we've got really two L shapes. Let's just draw that in, just to be absolutely sure we know what we're talking about. So this is the first L shape that he's done. Yeah, that's the first bit of the turn. Then he's done another L shape here. So he's done two L shapes. One L shape, the angle of that is 90 degrees. He's done two of them, so that would be 90 degrees times 2. What is 90, that would be degrees, times by 2? Well, we know 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 9 is 18. It's 180. 180 degrees. So the angle of a straight line, can you see what he's done there from facing up to facing down? He's made a straight line, and that angle from there, yeah, around to where he's facing now is 180 degrees. So that's the second angle we need to know. Let's put them on the screen. So we've got the right angle, the first one, quarter turn, 90 degrees. Second angle we need to know now, is that a straight line, or this is also called a half turn. It's 180 degrees. Remember, that was 90 plus another 90. Now it's called a half turn because compared to turning all the way around and doing a full turn, he's done halfway. That's what he'd done. But now look what he's done. He's already turned again. This time, let's see what shape this makes. So this is where he started, isn't it? And then he's turned all the way around to here now. He's facing this way. Now it doesn't make any particular oh wait, it does sort of look like a backward L, doesn't it? Ah yes, that's true. Okay, so the L we know is 90 degrees. Even if it's a backward L, it is 90 degrees. But let's just think about this. Are we measuring the angle from there to there? Because if we were, that would be the inside of the L, wouldn't it? And that would be 90 degrees. Or we could have shown that in a much easier way by just putting our little square in the corner. So that is 90 degrees there, but we're not talking about that, are we? Because he started from here and he went around this way until he got to here. So is that 90 degrees? No, it's not. You can see it's a lot bigger turn, isn't it? So remember what he's done to go from there to there, quarter turn, was 90 degrees. And then he did another 90 degrees to go from here to here, which was another L, wasn't it? Another quarter turn. And that was 180 degrees. That's down there. And now he's done another L-shaped turn here. So that's another 90 degrees. So really, it's 90 plus 90, 180, plus another 90. What is 180 plus another 90? Well, that makes 0. That makes, what is that, 17? So now we've got 1 plus 1 is 2. So we've got 270 degrees now. So that we call a 3/4 turn. Can you see that's the same as sort of like 3/4 of cake? Or he's got 1/4 left to do a full turn. So a 3/4 turn is 270 degrees. We've got that there now to remind us. But the strange thing is, Tim has already turned again. He's now facing up. It looks like that's where he was right at the beginning. And that's because the starting point is the same as the finishing point. He started here and he's gone all the way around. And that is the full turn, as we've called that earlier. And what is the number of degrees of a full turn? Well, it's a quarter turn, plus a quarter turn, plus a quarter turn, plus another quarter turn. So it's 4 quarter turns, so it's 90 degrees times by 4. And what is that? That is 9 times 4 is 36. Add a 0, that's 0 there, and we've got 360 degrees. So a full turn is 360 degrees. These are the 4 angles that we want to remember. We've got the right angle, which is the shape of an L, even if it's backwards. We've got a straight line, which is 180, which is the same as putting 90 plus 90 together. Then we have the 3/4 turn. Now the 3/4 turn can be even upside down, like this one here. This is not the same as how he had done it. He had started facing straight up, hadn't he? This person here is maybe facing this way, but they've still done a 3/4 turn because there's a quarter missing. And we know that's the same as doing 90 plus another 90 plus another 90, which is 270. And then finally, a full turn is the same as doing 4 quarter turns, or 90 times 4, which is 360. We just worked that out. So, did we answer these questions? We wanted to know what is an angle, and we wanted to know what are the basic angles that we need to know. So, first of all, what is an angle? An angle is how much or how far something has turned. The person must be exactly on the spot when they're turning. They're not going anywhere at all. They're just changing direction. And we have to keep track of where they started and where they finish. And we draw lines to show where they started and where they finished. So then we can show the angle. The angles that we need to know. There were 4 of them. They were the right angle, quarter turn is 90 degrees. Straight line or half turn is 180. A 3/4 turn is 270, and a full turn is 360. It's like doing a full circle. It's always 360. So, how is Tim feeling after all of that? Is he feeling quite dizzy? Not at all. He feels absolutely awesome. So Tim is ready for our next video where he wants to do more turning probably. He is a bit crazy about turning, so stay tuned for that.